In a speech in Aklan, Marcos expressed hope for the discovery of more gas reserves in the area. He said the ongoing drilling has a reasonable chance of success, adding it is key to energy security.
The Energy Department tones down expectations following government's announcement. It will allow the revival of drilling operations in the Cadlao oil field in Palawan.
Joint oil and gas development still the right way to resolve maritime disputes. That's according to Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin after the Philippines pulled out of talks with China.
What if I told you there's a Southeast Asian country quietly sitting on over $26 trillion in untapped oil and gas? A nation whose underground wealth could someday rival Kuwait or even key regions of Russia. And now, all eyes are turning toward it. If development stays on track, we're talking new service contracts, floods of foreign capital, and the kind of energy boom that reshapes the region. Because the next major energy giant in Asia might not be China. It might not be Indonesia either. It could be the Philippines. Right now, the Philippines extracts about 9,000 barrels of oil a day. Yet it consumes more than 550,000 barrels every single day. That's a massive shortfall. And every 24 hours, billions of dollars flow out of the country just to keep lights on, factories running, and cars on the road. Meanwhile, under their very own land and waters sits a fortune in energy that remains untouched. So where is all this hidden power buried? Geologists and strategists are laser-focused on the South China Sea, especially around the Spratly Islands, Reed Bank, and Mischief Reef. Now here's the tricky part. These waters are one of the most contested zones on Earth. Yes, some of these reserves lie in disputed territory, but many lie fully within the Philippines' borders, still waiting to be explored. From the Sulu Sea to the Celebes Sea and across key zones around the archipelago, potential is everywhere. And this is where things start heating up. Quick pause. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell if you're into geopolitics, energy wars, and power moves that shape the world. What comes next, you won't want to miss. Because time is quietly slipping away for the Philippines. The country's main natural gas engine, the Malampaya field, is nearly tapped out. For decades, it's powered over 3,000 megawatts of electricity, fueling Luzon and Manila. But experts warn it could bottom out by 2027, and the clock is ticking loud. The government's response? Move fast. They're reactivating dormant oil fields, scanning new prospects in Mindanao, and digging deeper into Camago and East Malampaya. Even the Malampaya contract was extended to 2029, hoping to squeeze out every usable drop. Investors are circling. Prime Infra, Shell, Udana, they're pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the country's energy future. Still, most of that $26 trillion in resources, locked away, untouched. It's like owning a vault filled with gold and never getting the combination. And the obstacle? Not tech, not cash, politics. The danger in the South China Sea doesn't come from typhoons, it comes from warships and territorial claims. 6 nations, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Taiwan, and the Philippines, all assert rights over parts of this strategic sea. And a huge chunk of the Philippines' oil and gas potential lie in these overlapping claims. Back in 2016, an international tribunal ruled that China's sweeping claims had no legal basis. China, they shrugged. Instead, they amped up their presence. Their Coast Guard began tailing Philippine vessels, launching flares, even ramming survey ships near Reed Bank. This isn't rumor. It's backed by satellite photos, press reports, and U.S. military intelligence. Last year alone, several tense standoffs took place right in the waters where the Philippines wants to start drilling. And the impact? Foreign investors get cold feet. Exploration slows. Projects fizzle out. Even though the Philippines holds legal rights to explore and extract, they're boxed in by a very real threat of conflict.
Picture this: an entire country could flip its energy story, launch an economic revival, and become a regional leader. But instead, it's stuck, cornered by battleships in its own backyard. like someone parking an armored truck in front of your house and daring you to open your front door. But something is shifting. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is stepping up with moves that could change everything. He's locking in powerful alliances with the US and Japan, reshaping the entire security landscape of the Indo-Pacific. Take the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, for example. It now gives American forces access to 9 strategic bases across the Philippines. And those bases, they're not collecting dust. Joint patrols between US and Filipino navies are becoming a regular sight in contested waters. Behind closed doors, serious players from Tokyo and Washington are drawing up billion-dollar strategies targeted straight at Philippine oil and gas. And now that strategy is going even deeper because President Marcos Jr. has flown to the US to meet former President Donald Trump. This isn't a ceremonial visit, it's a signal, a calculated move at a critical time. While current U.S. leadership focuses on Asia through traditional diplomacy, Marcos is building back-channel influence, connecting with one of America's most polarizing power brokers. This Trump meeting isn't about politics. It's about leverage. It's about options. And energy sits right at the center of the conversation. Because Trump, known for prioritizing U.S. energy dominance and private sector deals, could become a major player again. And Marcos, he's not wasting time. He's drawing attention to the Philippines' strategic value before the 2026 U.S. elections reshape global dynamics yet again. And these aren't fantasy scenarios. Industry insiders say the Philippines could rake in tens of billions in foreign investment in the next 5 years, not only for drilling, but to transform the entire national energy grid. What's the mission? Flip the country from an oil importer to an energy leader. Power up local industries, lower fuel and transport costs, and finally give the Philippines control over their own energy future. But here comes the billion-dollar question. Will the Philippines grab this moment or let it drift away? Because this window is closing fast, and the competition isn't sleeping. Indonesia, they're already pumping out over 700,000 barrels a day. Malaysia, nearly 600,000. They're turning energy into influence, modernizing faster, building infrastructure, pulling ahead. Now imagine if the Philippines could match even a slice of that output. It could unlock billions in revenue and wipe out those crushing import costs. Would it make them the next economic titan overnight? No, but the ripple effect? Massive. Lower energy prices, cheaper logistics, stronger factories, and a surge of new jobs nationwide. Here's the kicker. That golden opportunity is slipping through their fingers. Malampaya's reserves are nearly tapped. Global oil prices are on the rise. And climate pressure? It's accelerating the push toward renewables, with or without them. And right when things couldn't feel more intense, the story turns again. Because now, it's not just about potential, it's about survival. It's a sprint against time and against mounting risks. What's truly at stake? Everything. If they act now, the Philippines could rewrite Asia's energy map. They'd gain independence from China's shadow, they'd strengthen ties with US and Japanese powerhouses, and instead of chasing energy security, they could become a source of it for the region. But if they freeze, if Chinese aggression tightens the chokehold, if they flinch, then the cycle continues. High fuel prices, slower growth, constant vulnerability. Meanwhile, other nations surge ahead, and the Philippines get stuck, again, playing catch-up in their own backyard. But there's a move quietly unfolding that few are watching. The Philippines is forming an energy pact with Vietnam, another country dealing with China's push in the South China Sea. Together, they're exploring joint extraction, shared protection, and a united front. And Japan? It's stepping in as the dark horse. Japanese companies and powerful state players like GOGME bring elite deep-sea drilling expertise. They're also hunting for new oil sources outside the Middle East. So if Japan and the Philippines go all in on energy, it won't be a partnership. It'll be a regional game changer. And the timing couldn't be more urgent.
Take a look at the global energy map.
The war in Ukraine didn't just shake Europe, it exposed the high-stakes gamble of depending on volatile regions for fuel. Now, countries everywhere are scrambling to lock in safer, more stable suppliers. And right now, the Philippines has a chance to step into that role. It could become a vital energy partner for Japan, South Korea, even Taiwan. But time isn't on their side. Each year of hesitation is a year their rivals surge ahead, a year closer to Malampaya running dry, a year deeper into China's creeping grip over disputed waters. And here's something nobody's really unpacking. There's a generation gap forming inside the country. Young Filipinos, they're climate conscious. They're questioning the future of fossil fuels. But they're also tired of high prices, stagnant wages, and limited options. They want change. They want hope. So what if oil and gas could be the bridge, a way to spark jobs, drop costs, and finance the shift toward clean energy? That kind of middle ground might be exactly what this generation needs. And the world? It's paying attention, because this moment isn't only about oil. It's about what happens when a small nation stares down a global powerhouse. It's about how countries carve out their future in one of the most contested zones on Earth. And it's about energy, yes, but also about courage, strategy, and survival. If the Philippines makes the right moves, this could be a turning point that echoes across the region. But if they get boxed in by fear, by politics, by foreign threats, that sends another kind of signal, a warning, one that shows how quickly opportunity can collapse under pressure. Right now, the Philippines stands at a critical fork in the road. They have energy beneath their feet, global partners backing them, and a rising generation ready to break the cycle. But that clock, it's ticking louder every day. The world is watching, closely. Because unlocking offshore energy is no easy task. It demands big money, advanced tech, and razor-sharp policy. The Philippines has to pull off a delicate balancing act, deliver fuel now while staying on course for a cleaner tomorrow. All this while playing a dangerous political game in the South China Sea and building the talent and capital to actually follow through. The next few years, they're everything. Can the Philippines rise to the moment and take control of its energy destiny? Can it hold its ground against China with support from powerful allies? Will this be the launchpad for renewables or a dream lost to delays and indecision? We want to hear from you. What's your take? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're listening. And if this breakdown of the Philippines' energy crossroads hit home, tap that subscribe button and hit the bell. We've got more global deep dives on the way. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.